name's Dave, I'm also known as Infected Flinch, and yeah, it's not necessarily anything pickup or Flinch Bits related. Do you remember when I did the top 10 video game music thingamajiggers I did a while back? I was wearing this same jumper, in fact, I think. Have a look. Right, number 6. Number 6 is a bit left field, but bear with me here. So number 6 is actually from Nightmare Creatures. I loved Nightmare Creatures, I really did. And the guy who did the music for it, his name was LLAMADUB. I think it was Frederick Mott, I think his name was, his real name. But yeah, he's amazing. Some of the songs he's done over the years are really amazing. He's a French composer. He's amazing. Listen to some of his stuff, you'll love it. So yeah, I was actually talking about something in that, and it was about Nightmare Creatures. And Nightmare Creatures is, I don't have the game anymore, and it makes me sad. But I loved the music from that game, and it was made by Frederick Mott, as I mentioned in the video. You can take a look. He's known as LLAMADUB. Now, the mental thing of it was, he actually found my video, and he was such a nice guy, and he loved what I had to say. And mate, you make some fantastic music, and he's done loads. He's done Fury of the Furries. He did some. It was kind of a remix album for Eliminator. I played it on Atari ST. I think he did it for like Commodore 64 or something like that. But he did that. He did another one for a game called Fascination, which was a PC-based game. He's done loads. I mean, if you have a look at his website, which I have a link somewhere over here, he's done absolute shit tons, and I'm not kidding. He has done so much stuff. Oh, by the way, the game behind me is Soul Calibur 2. Yeah, again, it's not something he's done, music-wise. I actually had a look through the entire list of games he's done, and I couldn't find one to put on behind me, so sorry. But yeah, he was humbled by what I had to say, and I only say things like that because when I love them, I will say that I love them. As a cynical person like me, I usually say I hate everything. But yeah, Nightmare Creatures, as a kid, I mean, I played that, I think I was 12, I think it came out in 97, correct me if I'm wrong. I loved it, I thought it was a great game, and it's a shame that Callisto kind of disappeared, because yeah, he did the Fifth Element music as well, the game version, which I know the game wasn't great, but it was based, I think, on the same engine for that Nightmare Creatures had. But Nightmare Creatures just seemed to have something right about it, the first one. The second one was really good, but they tried to take it in a different direction, and I wasn't a big fan of what they did, because you had to fight enemies one after the other, and I think they were trying to show off how pretty it looks, and they tried to change how the game mechanics worked, and didn't quite work as well for me personally. But I liked the fact that they weren't going to just stick to convention. They wanted to change things up, and the music was very different. It was, in a way, and I prefer the first one to the second one. I would have loved to have seen what they would have done with the third one, and kind of built on what they had with the first game, because the first game was more arcade, and the second one, it was trying to be story based, and they were trying to show off what they could do with it. But anyway, the reason why I'm kind of waffling on now, he basically got in touch with me, and he actually said, dude, do you have the Plugin album? Now, Plugin was his band that he plays in. Now, I had one of the albums in an MP3 format, and I thought that was the one he was talking about. Now, and it was quite an oldish one. Had a song on there called Sendrez, which I think is a fantastic song. But he said, I'll send you a CD. And I was like, great. And he says, have you actually got it? And I said, well, yeah. And I thought he was talking about that one. And it makes me even happier knowing it's not that one he's actually sent me. He sent me one I didn't know existed, because I didn't think it was still going. But it was basically an album he was doing. I think it was the last time I checked on him just to see what he was doing. But it was basically him and a mate of his that was doing songs, and he was asking for like solos, guitar solos from different people to put in his songs. And I didn't think it was ever going to get finished, because I think the last time I checked it, it was probably early 2010, may have been early 2011, but this did come out in 2011, and it's called Hijack. And he's actually sent it me, bless him, through the post, and he's actually signed it for me. And mate, I came home. I came home from university because I'm doing game design there, and I just found this in the post, and day absolutely made getting this. So it wasn't the one I thought it was. I'll be honest with you, I've only listened to 4 songs on there. So the first 4 tracks, there's 9 tracks in total, but it's absolutely cracking. It's instrumental rock music, and it's just so well produced. It's so fantastic. It's awesome to listen to. The first song sounds like you're having a fight with somebody in a game, like a boss in a game, and it's just, yeah. Thank you so much. I genuinely mean that. Go check him out. There'll be a link here. He's done so many games that you will have played and you'll have seen, and he deserves a lot more love than what he's got on his YouTube channel. And he's got a Facebook page as well. And the fact that he found me quite randomly, because I didn't think he'd ever see that, or, I mean, if anybody else ever sees the stuff I said about in that actual bit. And video game music is something that needs to be recognised more, and it doesn't, unfortunately. It's that whole thing about video games and art, and, you know, what LLAMADUB did is he basically transcended that, and I did listen to some of the albums, well, some of the bands he actually produced, and Jenks was a band I loved in the early 2000s. They were like a Belgian French metal band called Jenks, and I loved them. I thought they were great. I actually remember listening to the EP from that, and it was fantastic. So yeah, I actually, you know, getting this from him, I didn't realise he'd actually made this in 2011. It turns out he made another one on top, so as soon as I get some more money in my pocket, I'll be buying more albums off you, mate, so don't worry. But thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you for signing it as well. And chuffed to bits. So yeah, go check him out. So that was a bit of an outpouring, and you know, it kind of brings me on to the fact that video game music. What are your favourite video game music albums? I mean, you can watch the video I made before, and if you have got some favourite games and with video soundtracks, I mean, you've always got the popular ones, you know, your Final Fantasies, your Super Marios, and all that kind of stuff. But they bore me because they're just so they're all over the shop. I mean, that's why I liked LLAMADUB, because he was doing stuff that was really cool. And it was very different at the time for what I remember. I mean, death metal and organs in a song when you find a giant sewer snake. I mean, that still blew my mind as a kid. Yeah, this has been kind of intersected as well. Different place, still wearing the same jumper. Yeah, I meant to kind of mention this a while back, and saying about the kindness of strangers. I know he's not a stranger, but Malk, Smooth MJ, he's an absolute awesome guy, and I got this a while from him, and I've never really mentioned it, and I've been meaning to mention it. He sent me some games in the post, and note, maybe, probably. Yeah, he sent me basically some games, and he's just said, good luck with the game design courses you are doing, and all the very best for your future career. Thanks, mate. Keep up the good work with the nostalgia trip. I've included 2 other games because he sent me one. Facebreaker is so bad, I've just said it, that it needs the nostalgia trip treatment. All the best, Malk. Mate, thank you. He sent me some games in the post, so I believe I asked for Fallout Ultimate Carnage, so it's just the disc itself. But he also gave me Call of Juarez. Is it Juarez? Juarez. And Facebreaker. So I don't know if they're out of my remit, and you know, in terms of date, because it's usually 2000 and
Facebreaker's just out. I could make an exception. And Cola Juarez, I've heard good things about that actually. But Flat Out was the reason why I wanted it. But yeah, back to normal. Back to what I was doing before. Thanks, Malk. Love you.
But yeah, comment, like, and subscribe as you normally do. I'm Dave. I'm wearing a jumper. It's called Biscuits.